Opposition to this bill.
The Honourable Annette King.
Thank you very much, Mr Chairman. The reason why I want to take a call in this debate on the title is because this is the only chance this House has to examine this bill, to scrutinise this bill. It's the only chance New Zealand has to have this bill scrutinised by other eyes other than the government's, which is why we are taking this debate so seriously. We are looking at each part of it and doing our job on behalf of the taxpayers of New Zealand, because this government would not let this bill that has nothing urgent in it at all to go to a select committee. So I think that we need to go step by step, whatever time it takes, to make sure at the end of this process the people of New Zealand know that we did a good day's work, maybe 2 days' work, could be 3 days' work, examining this legislation, because the lazy government opposite would not send it to a select committee. And the best speech they've made all day is, I move that the question be now put. That is the speech from the government on this very important bill that we've got before us. Well, Mr Chairman, I have got some new information to bring to this House, because we're talking about social housing. This is what the title of this bill is, and it's all around the flexibility that's going to come from this social housing reform bill. And so we have been told we need this bill and the title of this bill because it's going to make changes in the way that community housing is provided. And so what, I thought, do the community housing people themselves think about this bill? Well, they've just put out a press statement around this bill, and they have said this. The community housing organisations say the government's budget initiatives on housing are too timid and won't deliver the results that are needed. This is the very groups they want to hand over, they said, community housing for. They said, we hear loud and clear that the government intends to transfer some Housing New Zealand properties for use as ongoing social housing run by the community housing sector. They then said, what the sector is trying to communicate equally clearly is that the better future is one where those properties can be regenerated, made fit for purpose, and deliver a whole range of better community outcomes, not just put a new landlord in place. Say yes now, Mr Bishop. So not just put a new landlord in place. So they say, what about the regions? What are you doing for the regions, they say? They said there was urgent need to look at the accommodation supplement, which currently costs the government $1.1 billion a year and is in urgent need of review and adjustment. They go on. So I suggest, members, turn on your iPads, have a look and see what the latest reports are from the very groups that are supposed to be the beneficiaries of this social housing reform. And as I said before, reform indicates that it's supposed to be something that is an improvement. And what we are hearing from the community housing sector is they don't see it as an improvement. So it's not properly named, this bill. And I'm sure those who have been in this House for a while will know that how important it is to correctly name a bill. We have been warned many times that we ought to name bills correctly. So let's listen to the only submission that we have received on this bill, and that is coming right now from the umbrella group of the community housing Aotearoa. That's the only submission we've got, because they're not allowed to make one, so they put out a press statement. And I have read to the members opposite what they think about this bill. Well, if they count for anything, Mr Chairman, then the National Party would be pulling this bill and saying, let's send it to a select committee and hear the submissions from New Zealanders, maybe even a tenant or two, Heaven help us that they should be allowed a voice when it comes to community housing. You see, the Minister of Housing blew it yesterday when she told us what tenants are thought of and called by the National Party. Do you know what they're called? They're not called tenants or people. They're called cohorts. She said, we're talking about cohorts, and she wasn't talking about tenants or people. And that really is an indication of how out of touch this party opposite is when it comes to social housing.
Chris Bishop.
Mr. Chairman, I question be now put.
Yes, you want.
Well, I think we are in a position where the House can make a decision as to whether it wants to move to a vote. The question is that the question be now put. Those who are of that opinion will say aye. Contrary opinion will say no.
Noes have it.
The ayes have it.
Noes have it. Party vote.
Party vote's called for. Clerk will conduct the party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
32 votes opposed.
Green Party.
13 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
12 opposed.
Maori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
Just while the clerk is adding up the votes, I understand that a member was evicted from the chamber earlier for commenting during a vote. I didn't identify the member who commented during that vote, who was not meant to be commenting, but if I had, he would have been joining the other members.
Can you identify him now?
The ayes are 63, the noes are 57. We will now have the votes. The first question. The question is that clause 1 stand part. Those who are of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary opinion will say no.
No.
The noes have it. Is anyone going to call for a party vote? The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
32 votes opposed.
Green Party.
13 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
12 opposed.
Maori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
The ayes are 63, the noes are 57. Clause 1 will stand part. We now move to voting on clause 2. The question is that clause 2 stand part. Those who are of that opinion will say aye. Aye. The contrary opinion will say no.
No.
The ayes have it. Party vote is called for. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
32 votes opposed.
Green Party.
13 opposed.
New Zealand First.
12 opposed.
Maori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
The ayes are 63, the noes are 57. Clause 2 will stand part.
Mr. Chair, I move SOP number 78, dividing the bill.
Question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary opinion will say no.
No.
The ayes have it. Party vote's called for. Clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
32 votes opposed.
Green Party.
13 in favour.
New Zealand First.
12 opposed.
Maori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
The ayes isn't it? 76, isn't it? The ayes are 76, the noes are 44. The bill is so divided. I will report this bill without amendment and so divided. And you've got a sheet for me about the list of the bills. Okay.
Members, the House is resumed. Mr Chairman.
Mr Speaker, the committee has considered the Social Housing Reform, Flexible Purchasing and Remedial Matters Bill and reports it without amendment and divided into the following bills. The Housing Restructuring and Tenancy Matters Social Housing Reform Amendment Bill, the Taxation Social Housing Reform Bill, the Housing Corporation Social Housing Reform Amendment Bill and the KiwiSaver Home Start Amendment Bill. Mr Speaker, I move that the report be adopted.
The question is that the report be adopted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. No. The ayes have it. A party vote's called for. Ask the clerk to conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
32 votes opposed.
Green Party.
13 opposed.
New Zealand First.
12 opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Action New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 63, the noes are 57. The report is adopted. The bill is divided from the Social Housing Reform, Flexible Purchasing and Remedial Matters Bill are set down for third reading forthwith. The Honourable Joe Goodhue.
On behalf of the Minister of Social Housing, Mr Speaker, I move that the bills divided from the Social Housing Reform, Flexible Purchasing and Remedial Matters Bill be now read a third time.